Welcome, everyone. I'm very glad to be with you today here in Barcelona. Officially, I don't have any time to spend around the town, and I didn't saw anything about Barcelona. Probably yesterday I will do it. So I hope you will enjoy this presentation. So first of course, I want to thank Unity and all of you, or the community of developers and designers. As SuperGears, we are a team of 30 located in Istanbul. But SuperGears is just 2.5 years old. But our experience is coming from the last 22 years that we are developing games. So during that time, we have developed various of games for PC, mainly for consoles, of course, from adventures to FPS games. Mainly there were premium games. The last two of them were also free-to-play games, of course, but we never developed anything for mobile. This was our first project on mobile, and we did some racing games also before, and horror stories. So we have a little bit, let's say, a lot of experience on that level, but mainly we worked with custom engines. So we never used Unity before. So that because of that, I think it will be a very interesting presentation for myself, not for you maybe. And the customs engines we always used was iterated to suit our needs, of course. But sometimes you need a strong community and also background for that. I will mention that on my presentation, why we choose Unity, of course. So I will continue. The title of this presentation will be Racing Kingdom, creating a high-fidelity mobile game with URP, the use of URP, and how we did it, what was the results that we achieved. So my name is Tansu Kendirli. I'm 52 years old and been a while inside the game industry for the last 20 years. I'm one of the managing partners of this company. And today I will show you the presentation on behalf of my team and my founders. And we have also an additional to my background. We have grounded an NGO called Oyunder in Turkey almost 13 years ago. I'm at the head of the NGO also, which includes almost 250 companies across Turkey as members. So 2 years ago, we decided to create a unique racing game universe called Racing Kingdom to redefine the racing game landscape by bringing together different racing genres under one umbrella. The title will be Racing Kingdom, and you will see in the following years a lot of games with that title, but with different subtitles. So these are our aims. And of course, why we choose Unity. In order to accomplish this aim, we had to find the ideal game engine which is suitable for our goals. And that required an engine that fulfill our intensive needs for making a, let's say, global success and even able to handle millions of players on that sense. Such as the most important things were for us, of course, premium quality graphic and sound. I'm not mentioning the gameplay, of course. I will mention it after that. But of course, the multi-platform support was pretty important for us. And of course, we need also a flexible hand on development. An engine with rich community is the most crucial thing if you want to, let's say, make a racing title or any game title which is aiming for a global success. And unfortunately, we didn't have too much developers 15 years ago in Turkey. But now, after the last 10 years, there is a, let's say, huge community which is growing almost every day. The companies are, maybe you know some Turkish companies like, they hit, I'm not mentioning their names because they made a lot of global successes, especially like Match-3 and other genres, especially on mobile. So Unity has given us the ability to make that possible. And let's look together to a short video and to give a little bit sense about what we are trying to achieve and the game itself. Come on.
Racing Kingdom.
So, I want to go back, sorry. So as you can understand, or you see, this is the first game for Racing Kingdom will be a drag racing game. Later on, also, we will add some various type genres of racing inside, such as drift, such as off-road, such as rally, and of course, even combat racing for the future. There are a lot of various, let's say, different genres who can hold a community together if you are targeting the community and not the game itself. Racing Kingdom, the brand Racing Kingdom should be associated with, let's say, a quality of concept. That was our first aim. When you see or, let's say, try to play a Racing Kingdom game, you will have a certain degree of quality, and maybe on the top tier, what we are aiming for, that is. So in our presentation, in addition to graphics and sound, I will be sharing some points about vehicle physics too. So, and the progress that we have made on those areas is what brought us here today. So the agenda of my presentation, this is our first project on Unity. I have to mention that too. We never used Unity before. So even with all our knowledge across the industry, you can say we are still newbies on Unity in general. And I am here today to share with you how we started working with especially URP and other topics within Unity and what we achieved as a result of these efforts. Of course, there are some criteria that would influence our decision. Yeah. And what were these criteria? First, we want to use next generation graphics and sound. Does Unity provide this? The answer was yes. It can provide us with that. So the second was, could be able to achieve high performance and mobile devices, because our first debut game, Racing King Drag King, will be only on mobile, maybe on Nintendo Switch after, let's say, a period of its release. So after our first Racing King game, yes, this question about high performance fulfill our needs. The third one was, let's say, could we, of course, mobile first, but will we be able to sufficient performance on that quality on other platforms? The answer was again yes. So does it, by example, support multi-platform? Yes. So all of these questions were answered by satisfactory answers. And by example, if we are moving to VR on the future, which is inside our plans, of course, that will also give us the help we need. So the key features, no, I have some questions too related to our criteria. By example, does it provide the flexibility, enough flexibility during the development phase? And the answer was, again, yes. So, and last, as a team, we aimed to conduct research and development during our development phase. And does Unity give us the opportunity to make research and development on that platform? The last question was also yes. So we were happy with all of these answers. We decided to move on with Unity. For example, making changes to audio and graphic pipelines or in the editors, was it possible? Yes, again, it is possible. The last question is coming the community again. Almost 85% of Turkish developers are experienced on Unity. So we have a lack of developers, especially if it comes to the country, let's say contenders of Unity, but that doesn't make any difference because our first aim is going on mobile. So if we choose another engine provider, it will be very hard for you to find out the necessary talent or the experience. In the last 10 years in Turkey, I want to mention about my country also, where someone here is from Turkey. I guess not. That's the first time. Oh, hello. So, and maybe you know them, but maybe some of you don't know, but the gaming community in Turkey boosted in the last 10 years, pretty much. You can find almost 35,000 people who has the necessary knowledge in the gaming field now. Maybe it's relatively a small, let's say, amount of people, but considering Turkish gaming environment and scene, it's not too, let's say, not too low. And we also got help from our international partners and developers. So it was an easy decision for us. Before moving on to the presentation itself, I want to also mention something about the Racing Kingdom itself, about its features and what we are aiming for with this game. So, for example, I want to start with some of our features, by example, Turf War mode. This feature mode, where players race against each other to take control of certain territories. So it brought a strategic element to the game, which makes it much more, let's say, retention-wise or playtime-wise, much more efficient. So the regions you are captured can be used to speed up your in-game development as a player. So, of course, you can lose these territories because if you gain resources and want to gain resources from these territories, it will be much more beneficial for the player. And we already see the first results of it. It helps on increasing the player engagement and retention. So even at the first metrics, we had some striking results, and that also confirmed our predictions. We choose that element right. So there is also a build from scratch feature, which is probably the first for mobile. I remember some games on PC level or console level, which has, let's say, released some features, but you will be able to create a car from a chassis, not just engine, not just transmission, not just other parts, but from scratch, you will be able to build a car. And you will be also, in the professional leagues like drag leagues, you will be able to race with these, compete with these cars in your game experience. So yes. We also add additional, this is the restoration. You will be probably very familiar with the restoration feature, but you will be able to find classic cars which are ruined or from junkyards, buying them or taking an offer inside the game, and you will be able also to refresh to restore the car and race with that car in certain type of tournaments. So you will have also classic cars in your garage. But if it comes to garage, the game core or heart is on the lobby in your garage. So with the additional games, we are planning to use that lobby again and again in different type of genres. But of course, maybe the structure will remain the same, but you will play another game on that level. Oh, I need a little bit scroll for that. Of course, we have also upgrade and tuning, very in-depth tuning, by the way. We look to other competitors in general and saw how they monetize, how they applied the monetization features inside the game. Some of the market leaders are pretty good on in-app purchases, but even lesser quality products can gain a lot of money if it comes to the features. And we definitely look for 1 year, just right from the start, how they earn their money and how they apply it to the game. And we saw some, not just in comments of these games, I mean, market leaders, also in the mid-sized games, we saw some comments which lacks of some features, and the players were engaged to take this deal, but if you don't provide them this deal, your game will be a little bit much more dull from them. Yes, they like the game, they play the game, but they prefer if it has some additional features on it. And especially the pet system comes with that. We applied a system which you will be able to raise a pet in your garage or race with this pet on your car right next to you in the right seat, or if you are on a right wheel car, maybe on the left side. But you can pet him, you can feed him, you can teach something to him. At the end, you will make all of these journeys inside the game with your pet together. And especially when it comes to the gameplay side, we are planning to also use that pet in certain tournaments that only pet owners can, let's say, compete. We also have a multiplayer, of course, the whole game is a multiplayer game, but we will also a storyline, which is pretty exciting for a single player mode. Now, we are starting to let's say, feel the heat. This is our graphic side. So I want to start it with the rendering process because this is maybe the most let's say, serious problems that we have right from the start. URP enabled us to achieve the graphic quality we wanted. Our journey started with the creation of a detailed map, providing the foundational environment for any map or scene inside the game. After that, you all probably know the scriptable pipeline allowed us to put some blur effects on the map, custom blur effects, of course, that applied the Racing Kingdom's depth and focus. So that helped us to creating a much more immersive visual experience. So that was basically the process. So why did we add the motion blur in advance? Because if we had continued without doing this, as you know, most of you know, I guess, we have not been able to apply additional filtering to the vehicles. And this way, we could focus on the cars separately. Then Unity advances post-processing techniques helped us on emphasizing the depth and details. Now I'm coming to the optimization pipeline and how we enhance the rendering efficiency. For example, we use the memory profiler feature to complete our, let's say, to get over our bottlenecks with analyzing, identifying potential bottlenecks. After creating our needed optimization strategies, we start to develop our optimization techniques with the help of the frame debugger. Sorry for my English. You can understand. Then we moved on to the shader optimization. We were able to detect unnecessary shader variants, which create a lot of, let's say, problems, not just by rendering, but the gameplay itself. And it was at this point that compilation intervention was necessary. Being able to reduce thousands of shader variants to 200 was a significant challenge for us. So we worked very hard on that. And with that, we achieved a significant reduction of RAM usage. And of course, the build size. It also helped us by reducing the build times with this on streamlining development and testing process. This is a shader variant example we want to share with you. And in this screen, you can see the examples of shader variants for these choices. As you can understand, how we take the maximum advantage of these advantages that URP provides for us. We simply let go a lot of shaders. And, oh God, the video already started. I want to, let's say, I'm going back because I want to talk about something. So, to give an example of this, of reflections, and in this video you can see the texture application we used. It shows the initial application of the pre-rendered cube map on the vehicle. We use the texture shift in action. And you will notice the display. It's a very small, let's say, 30-second video. You will notice maybe the display of texture shift as soon as the vehicle moves to create a dynamic reflection effect to enhance the player's sense of movement and speed. These are 360 degrees. So, yeah, that was it. Sorry?
Who is the winner?
It doesn't matter who is the winner or not. So, okay, I have to use this one, probably. Oh no. Okay. Now it comes a little bit hotter because some you need really realistic motion blur for the feeling of movement and speed. So on that video, which is a very small video again, you can see how we did handle the rims. And blurring the wheels in a circular way was, of course, the most important elements that make player feel the speed of the vehicle. But there are many techniques that can be used for this, especially complex shaders. which is pretty much not a big problem for PC games, but on mobile, it's a very big issue because you don't handle with a lot of space, memory, or RAM. And also the devices are getting hotter and pretty much very soon. If it's not a flagship, even it can be worse. So, however, our desired wheel blur had some important criteria. What was these criteria? We had hundreds of different rim types. So our game, therefore, needs to produce a unique own blur effect when spinning. We don't want a standard uniform look, which can you use, because at the end, when the rim is moving, you are not able to see the details on it. But we didn't want that. Second was the blur intensity based on speed. The blur intensity should change according to how fast you are going and the rim are spinning. When spinning faster, the blur effect should be stronger. And third one was performance on mobile devices, as I mentioned just recently. The effects should look realistically as possible on mobile devices and should not slow down the system. So I have to scroll. Based on these needs, so our solution developed as follows. First step, we created a mesh that covers the entire rim and applied motion blur effect to give it a more temporary rim image. Also, when the vehicle exceeds a certain speed, we made a mesh appear over the rim. The testing phase was like that. During the test, we noticed that the blur effect provided by the mesh looked good. But however, because of the mesh, the texture looked like a cover over the rim, had a different rim image. It didn't look completely realistic, so to fix this, we redesigned the mesh, create some alphas for each and every rim type, and that covers the rim. We used rendered image of the test vehicle's rim as the mesh texture and added a circular blur effect in Photoshop over it. The results looked great during the test. The moment when the rim disappeared, the mesh appeared and was almost unnoticed. So, however, we faced two problems there. And I have to scroll again. And the problems were making brake calipers visible. That's when the alpha comes. If you apply the alpha over that mesh, you can see the rims, even the braking, let's say, discs. So the Photoshop to the gaps between the rim spokes, it rendered the image used as the mesh texture. This way, when the mesh spins, the brake calipers became visible. Second, increasing the blur effect with speed was also a problem. So to provide a stronger blur effect, as the speed increases, we prepared another version with more blur applied on Photoshop and switched this image when the vehicle speeds further. As you can see in that video now I'm playing the video. Reach out to a certain speed. This is the third level now, as you can see. You will have a flawless image. Okay. So now we are talking about the decal system. We had some problems, of course. The problem in, let's say, in game development, decals are images applied to the vehicles or other surfaces to add detail on and enhance the quality of the game. However, managing decals efficiently presents challenges. Were these challenges? So in traditional image-based decals, advantages memory efficiency. They use less memory by storing each decal separately. The second disadvantage was poor performance. Rendering many individual decals can burden your CPU and GPU, leading to decrease the game performance in general. So there was a second, let's say, using combined decal maps. The advantage was improved performance. Merging multiple decals into a single texture map reduces the number of draw calls, so enhancing the rendering speed. The disadvantage of that, as the numbers of decals increases, the combined texture map becomes large, and of course consuming more memory and storage space, which is a no-no, especially on mobile. The solution was to address these issues. We developed a hybrid approach that leverages the advantages of both traditional and combined decal methods. By example, store decals individually in memory. This maintains memory efficiency by keeping each decal separate. The second was render decals as single map in game. During the gameplay, decals are combined into the texture map, improving their rendering performance. In our decal pipeline, we have I have to scroll again. A decal editor. Designers create decal maps using our custom editor, which operates similarly to Photoshop, pretty much similarly. And this allows for easy design and manipulation of the decals. The second was the function of exporting JSON. Once the decal map is designed, it's exported to a JSON file or in JavaScript format, and is a lightweight data interchange format that is easy to read and write, making it ideal for let's say, empowering the decal information. Third, this is probably the longest slide, I have to tell you. So, loading into the game. Function. The exported JSON file is imported into the game and assigned to specific vehicles. This ensures that each vehicle displays the correct decals as intended by the designers. And fourth comes the runtime rendering. During the gameplay, decals are rendered onto a 2K resolution texture map based on the data from the JSON file. This process happens in real time, allowing decals to appear dynamically on vehicles. And last, the post-process function. After rendering, anti-aliasing is applied to the decals to smooth out the edges and improve the visual quality. This final step ensures that decals look crisp and realistic on various surfaces. Sorry again for my English. Turkish always hits me back. Okay. The decal editor, of course. By combining these strengths, traditional image-based decals and combined decal maps, the approach optimizes both memory and performance together. The memory efficiency, decals are stored individually, minimizing the memory consumption. The performance enhancement comes with decals are rendered as a single map in game, reducing the processing load and improving frame rates, which will show you another video in old phone. The scalability was also very important. This method efficiently manages a large number of decals without significant increase in memory, or performance issues, making it more suitable for large and detailed projects like ours. This hybrid decal management system ensures that games maintain high visual quality and performance together, providing an optimal experience for the players. Yeah, this is it. So I'm coming to the physics now, which is also a huge topic. Oh, do we have some water? Yeah. Yeah, realistic, let's say, vehicle physics, a critical aspect for any racing app, but mostly also for the drag racing genre. So realistic vehicle physics is one of the most crucial aspects of a drag racing game. The desired features for the vehicle and physics and racing kingdom are as follows. We need deterministic results. Vehicle physics must produce consistent results across different vehicles. At the same time, inputs should always yield at the same outputs, regardless of the frame rate. Second, efficiency and multiplayer synchronization. Vehicles should be flawlessly synchronized in multiplayer mode with minimal data traffic. And this ensures also a smooth and error-free gaming experience. Third, real-world vehicle simulation. The vehicle must accurately simulate the real-world characteristic of vehicles. So vehicles should accelerate like their real-life counterparts and have similar gear shifting intervals among other realistic behaviors. So this is basically a small, of course the formula is pretty much larger than that, but that can give you a little bit, maybe a hint. A ready-made vehicle physics solution that meets all these requirements wasn't found. So therefore, a custom vehicle physics formula was developed by us. When specific vehicle-related inputs are provided to the formula, it outputs the vehicle's current position, speed, and value like RPM value. So the inputs used in vehicle physics consist of two fundamentally different types of data: predefined and runtime data. So the predefined data, these are real-life parameters related to the vehicle's basic characteristics. The runtime data, these include essential data needed for the current race, such as time and player inputs. And I can say we have achieved a very realistic result with that. So the realistic engine sound, because when it comes to racing, maybe you didn't notice while playing games, but one of the two most important things are not just the graphics, also the sound and the feeling of the sound, which involves you a little, much more inside the game and create a consistent, let's say, consistent feel of satisfaction inside the game for the players. So creating a, let's say, engine sound pipeline, we reached the sound selection, especially in the 80s and 90s. This was very crucial. Maybe you are not too old like me, I'm 52 years old, but on that era, games are rated by three different characteristics: the look, the sound, and the gameplay features. These are the three most important topics to rate a game. Maybe it's the same now, I'm not sure of that, but all of the magazines just rated these three different aspects. And we actually created a racing game in 2008. So we were asked from a car brand to make a racing game from them. So we did it. In that game, we used the classic approach, which is still used today, by the way. And that is, we manipulated the sound in real time by sound range accordingly. So we had only one sound, which applied almost in every car. And looking back, now yes, the racing games, especially for PC and consoles, are using complex sound simulations. In most mobile racing games today, the method we used in 2008 was still used. And we want to change that. And how we change that is the next topic. For many racing games, maybe you will experience the most of it in Racing Kingdom in the near future. We part with our sound engineering team that work on PC and console games for I didn't have to give you some, let's say, brands, but they worked on Fast and Furious games. So, but only mobile and PC. After understanding our needs, they proposed a different approach. However, their suggestions were performance intensive for mobile platforms. So we avoid using that solution that they provided to us. Then we said, okay, wait a minute. We are making a drag racing game. The acceleration of the car's throttle here is mostly a steady upward progression, because you always boost your car by changing up your gear. So, and of course, with your gas. For each car and each gear, we will need sound that starts from the lowest RPM value to the highest one. So, but only wouldn't help to solve our problems with the engine sound for every car, each car our game is including. So, because that also doesn't help you on that level, because you are tuning your car, you are customizing your car, and almost every change will differ in some levels on your sound, engine sound especially. So we thought we could solve this issue by speeding up the sound for each and every gear. And however, the available products that can be used today for this wasn't sufficient enough and did not satisfy us. So came up with a new idea. We shared our idea with the engineering team. And so we worked around with an F mode over a plugin on that to use the position and speed of the sound for each gear to shape that outcome in runtime for the engine sound, and it worked perfectly. It was a great result for us. This is the short video of it. Of course, the voices are somehow a little bit digitalized, but they remain very strong and satisfied our needs. So the optimization of the graphics probably it is our last one. Good. Oh, did we spend so much time? No, so optimization techniques for enhanced performance, especially on graphics. One of the most fundamental things were performance impacting traditional topics. To create the balance and instancing strategy, it is very important at this point. If you leave all the work for the graphic engine itself, their optimization capabilities, it becomes difficult to achieve a balanced and successful result. So, for avoiding that, we also need to maintain a balanced structure for the number of draw calls, as this affects performance. And we can say that our graphics strategy is entirely focused on balance and performance, nothing remaining at all. the strategy of knowing when to group and when to use a load and to maintain the optimized balance is crucial. So depending on the type of race, this approach and a good strategy can be very helpful for your projects too. So as you can see, we use them 2D sprites, especially if the depths go longer and the, let's say, objects are far away. So, and this is, as most of you know, this is an iPhone 7. And that was recorded one of our testers in our QA team. And you will see the results of that in iPhone 7, which is almost a maybe 10 years old device or 9 years old. I'm not sure of it. So that wasn't 60 FPS. So this is the last slide, so we don't go over our time. So the summary of, let's recap the key points. We are creating a high-fidelity game called Racing Kingdom, and with some additional features and innovations. And Unity and URP, we expect why we choose Unity, how URP enhanced our development, the technical insights, which includes also not just for shader optimization or rendering performance, also motion blur effects, especially on moving parts, and decal for mobile devices, and how we did the physical simulation deterministic and realistic with the realistic sound engine pipeline. So thank you. And if you want to further discuss with me about the technical details, maybe I wasn't able to much because I have some appointments after that presentation. But at the end, you can see and you can share your views, your thoughts, or your questions with contact@supergears.com games. So thank you for listening. I'm very happy to be with you today.